Good morning, and thank you for being here for what is truly an exciting day for University High School and Waco ISD. It is my distinct honor to introduce the new and homegrown head football coach of the University Trojans. Keith Willis is a Waco native and a Waco ISD product. In fact, he once donned the purple and white of university before finishing his high school playing days and graduating across town at Jefferson Moore High School in 1983, prior to consolidation. Keith was a running back and defensive back for Coach Johnny Tusa at Jefferson Moore. After playing college ball at Sam Houston State and a professional stint with the Houston Oilers, Keith became an integral part of Coach Tusa's staff as Waco High advanced to the 2006 state championship game at the Alamo Dome. Keith returns to Waco after head coaching gigs in Marlin, where he led the Bulldogs to first-round playoff victories in 2010 and 2011, and at Austin LBJ, where he was the architect of a mid-season turnaround last year that resulted in a playoff berth for the Jaguars. Keith is a high-energy motivator who is passionate about teaching high school students, both on the playing field and in the classroom. Let me share with you a couple of things that I know about Keith Willis. Some of you who are here will remember that when he was entrusted with the track program at Waco High, it had been virtually non-existent for several years. And under his leadership, within a year or two, they were taking teams, relay teams, individual track and field athletes every year to the state track meet. Additionally, when this board and this district recognized that we had a problem with the transition of our middle school students to high school, Keith took over the fish camp or the freshman orientation program at Waco High. And one of the years when he was in charge of the freshman orientation, my daughter was actually a freshman at the school. And when she came home that night, we asked her what she thought. And the first story she told was about a coach who motivated and got all these students truly excited about the opportunity they had to become Waco High Lions. And I share that because Keith's not only interested in the success of the units that are entrusted to him or the teams that are entrusted to him, he's interested in seeing success for the entire campus and the entire school community. The last thing you may not know is that Friday night when Keith was hired as the head football coach at University High School, he was also hired as the athletic coordinator for the entire campus. And less than 24 hours later, this campus won its first ever state championship in high school soccer. As one of my colleagues on the board said that afternoon, wow, this guy's really good. I can't wait to see what you do next week. Join me in welcoming home the new University High football coach and athletic coordinator, Mr. Keith Willis.
Well, there's no pressure here. There's no pressure here. This is a beautiful day, folks, and I'm going to talk to you today about a wonderful journey. I'm going to talk to you about a wonderful journey that started at Oakwood Elementary in 1970. Went on to Saul Ross Elementary, to South Junior High School, to University Junior High School, on to Jefferson Moore High School. And I'll get to that here in just a minute. But first of all, I would like to just piggyback off of what Pat talked about when he talked about Coach Mike Chapman and these beautiful guys who just won the state championship. Folks, if you would, just help me to thank Mike Chapman for the job that he does, these outstanding young men. I think, having a chance to spend time with Mike and having a chance to see, and talk to his kids and take a look at his program. And that's one thing that I wanted to do Saturday. I didn't want to go and distract the kids or distract the coaches. I wanted to just go and sit and watch. So I went in the stands and I saw something beautiful. I saw a community come together and get behind 25 kids like none other. And I saw a coaching staff that the kids rallied around. And I heard these kids as they were down on the field, 1, 2, 3, West, Texas, as they pushed forward, not only for the Trojans of University, but for the Trojans of West. To me, guys, that is what it's all about. My training in church tells me all you do, only what you do for Christ will last. And it also tells me that service is number one. And I believe that the heart of Mike Chapman and all those young men showed through on Saturday. And that's why we were blessed. I'm going to go ahead and take credit for it too. We were blessed with the state championship. So Mike, congratulations, man. You have set the tone. You have established the bar. And the rest of us will work very hard to get there. So we're very proud of you and the team. But next, I would like to thank some people. First of all, I would like to thank God for this wonderful, wonderful journey. It has been a marvelous, wonderful journey for me. In the book of Malachi, it talks about some things, and it says that if you will bring all you can into the storehouse, that there might be meat in my house, is what it says. That it says he will pour you out a window of blessing that your hands will be too small to receive. My britches are too small to receive all that he's done for me and my family. And so I do say thank you to the Almighty. I next would like to thank my wife, Sonia, who in hanging with me the last few years, she's become a nomad as well. It's good to have a partner. It's good to have a friend. It's good to have someone who's there with you to the end. It's good to have someone who you can count on. And thank you so much, Sonia, for all that you do, baby. Next, I would like to thank Dr. Kane. I would like to thank Dr. Kane, the members of the board, Pat, for your vision. I'd like to thank you for your commitment to success. And in our meetings, all of that shined through for me, that this district is focused on doing things at the highest possible level. Well, that's where I want to be. That's where I want to be. So I want to thank Dr. Kane, and I want to thank the members of the board for their confidence. But I also want to thank Coach Denson. Coach, I appreciate all you do with the athletic program here in town, and I just feel so good about being back and having an opportunity to work with you, and I just want to thank you for your vote of confidence on this. Also, Dr. Shepard. He and I are going to be Batman and Robin around this campus.
Did you say Batman?
No, sir, I did not. No, sir, I did not. I'd like to thank Dr. Shepard and his staff as I look forward to working with them. And then I'd like to thank Jared Gibson, a young man who works with Dr. Kane and her administrative staff, for making me feel at ease and making the interviews, making me feel back at home. And certainly, so I want to thank him. Folks, I want to thank my family. I want to thank my brothers and sisters because they are my heroes. They've been there for me. I'm the youngest guy in the family, and all of them have just been there for me no matter what. All of my harebrained ideas, all of my moves, they've been there for me. I'd like to thank my dad. I'd like to thank my stepdad as well. But most of all, I would like to thank my mom. In 2001, my mom passed away, and I just want to thank her for the things that she put in us. And her birthday was the 18th, and that was the 17th was the day that I came to terms with the district. And so I'm just proud that somewhere around her birthday, she sent me a wonderful gift, and to be able to come back home and work for the staff at University High School. Now I want to talk to you about this journey that I'm telling you about. The journey that started at Oakwood and Saul Ross and South Junior, University Middle, University High, and ended up for me at Waco Jefferson Moore. In 1981, the last week of the season, my mom came to me and said, "We're going to be moving." Well, at that point in time, I thought that was the worst thing that ever could have happened to me. I said, "Oh, man, you're going to make me move to that side of town? I don't even like those guys." But from where I'm from, 212 Kennedy Circle, if your mom tells you something, then that's what it is. And so we moved. We moved to the north side of town. I was fortunate to be in South Waco and have the likes of Leroy Coleman, George Dupree taught me to catch my first football, and Terrell Lloyd, and those guys. And so it was hard to leave that group of coaches. The guys at university did a great job of mentoring us and helping us along. So when I moved to university, when I moved to Waco High or Jefferson Moore, I did not feel that I didn't know how that was all going to work. So when I got to Waco High, my brother Dwayne was a little crazy. And he came to Coach Tusa one day and he said, "Coach, tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to be there on, I'm not going to be there on Monday. I'm not going to be there on Tuesday, but on Wednesday I'll be there to get ready for the game." And you got to know Johnny Tusa. He told him, he said, "Well, Dwayne, that's fine. Tell you what you do. You don't show up on Monday. Don't worry about Tuesday. And Wednesday, we don't want to see you. Thursday, Friday, you go on about your business." And that's the first time I saw my brother break. He said, I'll be there. But I want to thank the guys that I fell into their arms, because it was those guys that helped me to become a man. It was at Jefferson Moore that these guys helped me to become a man. Certainly, many of them are here today. Coach Tusa, Johnny Tusa, Coach Albert Grazier, Coach Ed Love, Coach Tom Price, and his brother Sam Price as well. I would like to thank those guys for helping me to be a man. Because, see, being a coach is not simply being a subject matter specialist. And I learned that. I learned through George Dupree, Coach Coleman, through the coaches at Jefferson Moore, that as a coach, you're going to have to be more than somebody paid you to be. You're going to have to be their doctor sometimes. You're going to have to be their psychologist sometimes. You're going to have to be their preacher sometimes. You're going to have to be their teacher. And so I've had great training, and I've taken this training everywhere that I've gone. I think back in my mind's eye many days to Marjorie Pryor and the stamp that she not only put on my mom, but she put on me. Marjorie Pryor taught my mother at the old Moore High School and then taught me at Jefferson Moore. I think back to Coach Bishop and many of the things that he's given to me. I think back to a guy with a motor that was a Hemi, George Dupree, and the things that he put in me. And it's those things, guys, that has made me a really proud member of this community. I've taken those things with me to different places, and I was able to have my head up, mainly because of these guys who, through the socialization process and through their coaching efforts, poured their goodness into me. So when we went to Sam Houston, and there were a group of us, there were a group of 6 or 7. It ended up being 8 or 9, and then it turned into about 13 guys from Waco. We were 4-7 our first year. We went 8-3, 8-3, 9-2, and 8-3. We won 2 conference championships. And when all of the guys at the end of the day in the summer felt like things were too tough, the guys from Waco were the ones still standing saying, "Hey, Coach, give us some more. Give us some more. We know how to be a champion. Give us some more." Because we had great training at Waco. But I want to tell you about the journey and how good God is. I had one bad knee and what I consider to be one good knee. And the scout from the Houston Oilers came and said, "Son, I just need to see you run." I said, "Sir, I have a chipped bone in my knee." He said, "I just need to see you run." Well, I ran that day and I didn't do very well. But as the New York Giants came around and as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers came around and all of these other schools, it was the Houston Oilers that called me back. Mike Holloway of the Houston Oilers called me and said, "Son, I'd like to make you a deal." I said, "Sir, make me a deal." So I went on to Houston. Didn't stay very long, Pat. They figured me out before long. But I had a chance to meet and be around some very good coaches there. One of my good friends is June Jones. He's now at SMU. I had a chance to cross paths with the coach at Alabama. I had a chance to work with some really fine people at the Houston Oilers. I left the Houston Oilers and I went on to the Cincinnati Bengals. Well, my old knee finally caught up with me and I couldn't pass the physical there. prior to that, I had gone to the Detroit Lions, and it was the same thing. My body just wouldn't let me go anymore. So what I did was I stopped on my journey, and I started a new journey. Started a new journey in advertising, where I was able to procure a job selling the Houston Astros and Rockets from KXYZ Radio 13, KXYZ Spanish Radio 13. I sold the Houston Astros and Rockets for 5 years. One of the greatest jobs that I've ever had. But I felt at the end of the stint there that I was becoming a taker. I did not see how I was giving back something to my community. I felt like I was always in this posture. And so I came back to Waco on vacation, and I walked in Diego Velos' classroom. I subbed with Coach Velos for one day, and I fell in love. And I found my passion. And at that point, Cleotis Babels and George Dupree were able to bring me in as a coach at Lake Air Middle School. At Lake Air Middle School, my first immediate boss was none other than Marty Herbst. Marty was a wonderful boss, and we had some good years. And Marty was elevated, and then I was elevated to the 9th grade center. And then at that point, I turned down a job 4 times. It was the athletic director, the first athletic director at Lago Vista ISD. Well, I thought about this because my prayer is always that God allows me to go and help kids, allows me to do whatever I can to help the lives of kids. And I prayed that, and I prayed it out loud. And so one day I just came to the understanding that Jerome Stewart, who is now the superintendent at Midlothian, was offering me the chance of a lifetime to be an athletic director. I was 32 years old. I didn't think I was ready, but I thought that that was what God would have me to do. So I took the job at Lago Vista. It was the best job that I have taken to this point. And it was because it didn't look like it on paper. I moved to Austin, and I was making $32,000 in Waco, and I made $40,000 in Austin. Well, my daycare in Waco was $300 a month. My daycare in Austin was $700 a month. My house note was $400 here. I owned a house. My apartment in Austin was $800 a month. So my quality of life went down. My quality of life went down. But it was the best thing that I could have done for my career at that time. At Lago Vista, they didn't have a football program, Dale. They were talking about in the first board meeting that I went to how it was that they were going to secure jobs for teachers, how they were going to buy tables and chairs and physical things that they really needed. And so I asked if there was a way that we could explore what football would cost in that community. And one of the board members laughed facetiously and said, yes, you can do that. And so we did. We explored it, and we came back with the numbers, and we said that it would cost about $100,000 over the next 5 years. And again, he said facetiously, if you can raise that money, we'll play. So within the next 4 months, we had raised about $30,000. In the next year and a half, we had raised $182,000 so that we can play football in Lago Vista. We played football in Lago Vista for 4 years without the district paying a dime. We sustained the program for 4 years, and after 4 years, I'm a football coach, and I love to play at the highest level. I got on the phone, and I called Coach Tusa and asked him what was going on in Waco. So when I called him, he made a spot for me. We left them with $30,000 in the bank. They played 2 more years, and I came on back to Waco. In 2006, and being at Waco, we played for a state championship. And I'm very blessed to have had the opportunity of being down on the sideline with these guys. It was a wonderful experience, and it was the first time that as a team sport that I had been on the sideline in a state championship game. And it was just a great experience, and I'm very proud of that. But after that, I thought it was time for me to get back in the big chair. So I applied again at Marlin and was able to secure the position. And as was said previously, we went 1-9 the first year. Well, I want to tell you about that. We took 6 guys who we felt like were D1 athletes, and we told them to hit the door and don't come back, because I think I know what good is. I've been around programs that have done it right. And I want you to understand something about me and my training. My training tells me that winning is a byproduct. It's a byproduct of all those things that you do every day. It's a byproduct of coming early and staying late. It's a byproduct of working hard. It's a byproduct of being a good person. It's a byproduct of doing the best that you can do. So that's what we did. We asked our kids to do the best job that they could do. And those guys who stayed, we lost 6 games in the fourth quarter. We were close in a lot of them, but it just wasn't meant to be. We didn't know how to win the big one. So we worked the whole spring thinking about what is it that we need to do to be a championship football team. And we came up with something that now I live by, and it is my coaching philosophy. And that is, we came up with the principles of focus. All summer we beat in our kids' head these principles of focus. And I've lived by them since. It's an acronym. And the F in focus stands for find out what you're here to do. We figured out that some of our kids were wishy-washy, that some days they were there to work and some days they weren't. And so we say that the F is for finding out what you're there, what's your purpose? What are you here to do? So that's what we're going to find out from these kids at university. When you hit the weight room door, we're here to lift weights. If we're on the field, we're here to work. If you're in the classroom, you're here to learn. The principles of focus starts off with F, finding out your purpose. The O is for organization. Every good team is a well-oiled machine. A la Mike Chapman and his squad. A well-oiled machine. So organization is key. We believe in you being a little bit like Tom Hopkins, like Sean Covey and his dad, like all of those people who teach you how to be motivationalists. They teach you to plan your work and work your plan. And so that's what we plan on doing. The O is for organization. The C is for commitment. Commitment means that you will do more than what somebody is paying you to do. I've got to have that out of my coaches. I've got to have that out of my players. I don't want coaches or players standing around watching their watch. That's not what it's about. When we're done, then we're done. But until we're done, we're working. So the C is for commitment. The U is for understanding that someone laid the groundwork for you to be here today. Now, I can start telling you some names here. I can tell you about old Frog that went to University High School. I can tell you about Walter Abercrombie that went to University High School. I can tell you about Harold Green, okay? Henry Dixon. If you want to know some guys who were right here and who laid the groundwork so today we can have this beautiful building, I can tell you about them. But until kids understand that it's not all about them, that there were other people who did this so that you could have that, then it really doesn't make a difference to them. So we want them to understand, you're not only playing for you, you're not only playing for us, but you're playing for the Trojan nation. And that's very important. And then the last part of this is service. Still believe that only what you do for God will last, and only what you can do for someone else makes a difference. And so we want to be like Mike Chapman, which I think he has the standard. He is the standard. That we not only help ourselves, but we help others, because that's what's important. And that's when God will bless you. So I'm very thankful. That's pretty good. Right on time. So I'm very thankful to have an opportunity to work with the staff here at University High School. I look forward to walking the halls. I look forward to talking with teachers and working with teachers on with the kids on their grades and their behavior. That's what we do as coaches. But I want to say to the board, and I want to say to all of those people who have welcomed me back with open arms, I want to say to you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to let you know, I want to let the South Waco community know that a vote for Keith Willis was a vote for South Waco. I want you to know, the people from the other side of town, I want you to know that a vote for Keith Willis was a vote for Waco. I want you to know that we're going to work with the city of Waco, we're going to work with Waco High, we're going to work with everybody in this community to make sure that this school is as good a place as it can possibly be. It's going to start with our hearts, it's going to start with our hands, it's going to start with our heads, and we're going to get going and do the best job that we know how to do. I want to thank all of you for being here today. Thank you very much.